My paper is entitled Navigating the Ethical Intersection of Artificial Intelligence in Legal Education. This paper explores the transformative role of AI in legal education with due consideration to ethical risks and challenges. It highlights the critical role of AI in augmenting human intelligence, with particular consideration of adaptive learning systems in legal education institution vis-a-vis ethical and governance framework based on the national and international standard. Recently, the Supreme Court of the Philippines published the Human Augmented Intelligence Governance Framework. This paper examines how AI can personalize learning, support faculty, and expand access while raising concerns about bias, misinformation, academic integrity, and intellectual property rights. The discussion framed within the global ethical standards with UNESCO's human rights approach to AI, and ultimately the paper calls for responsible governance, AI literacy, and ethical stewardship to ensure the technological progress aligns with human values, fairness, and social justice. This 2026, the Legal Education Board conducted a study involving 333 legal education institutions in the Philippines and composed of public and private on the uh, study on the use of AI in legal education with legal and ethical consideration. In a thematized theme of the study, it has been found out that very high averages indicate strong consensus that AI improves efficiency and supports learning, positioning AI as a valued academic aid. While students report strong confidence in detecting AI errors, their trust in AI output is more restrained, suggesting informed but cautious engagement. Moderate concern reflects ambiguity about rules and expectations, underscoring the need for clearer institutional guidelines among legal education institutions. Furthermore, for data privacy, skill erosion, and psychological and adaptive pressure from AI growth, moderately high concern highlights sensitivity to privacy risk, especially relevant in legal education where confidentiality is paramount. Students show notable concern that over-reliance on AI may weaken legal reasoning and writing, reflecting awareness of professional competence standards. And moderate agreement suggests that while students are adapting to AI, the pace of change creates uncertainty and cognitive strain. With regard to policy framework, protection of academic integrity and assessment validity, conditional acceptance of AI for learning support, and demand for centralized policy leadership. The themes emerge high averages that indicate strong student support for restricting AI use in summative assessment, especially exams and fully AI-generated submissions. Moderate to high agreement reflects acceptance of AI for preparatory and low-risk tasks, particularly when disclosure norms are in place. And a very high agreement underscores strong expectations for the Legal Education Board to issue national guidelines to harmonize institutional practices. With regard to the perceived impact of AI and curricular priorities, the themes on perceived academic skill enhancement from AI, concerns about cognitive or analytical impairment, and curricular demand for AI literacy in legal aid education emerge. Moderate averages indicate that AI is viewed as beneficial for research and writing, but not as a substitute for foundational skill development. The relatively low average suggests limited concern that AI use significantly weakens critical analytical abilities among low students, while moderately high to high averages reflect strong student demand for formal instruction on both AI tools and AI-related law. So this reflects a strong uh, urge for AI literacy. With regard to the perceived impact of AI and preparing for integrated legal practice, strong agreement indicates recognition that future legal practice will require effective collaboration with AI systems. Preservation of uniquely human skills emerges also as a theme, and a very high priority underscores near consensus that law schools must emphasize skills and AI cannot replace judgment, ethics, and advocacy. With regard to equity access and institutional support for AI use, the themes emerge on the perceived equity of access to AI tools. Moderate averages indicate that access is generally viewed as fair, but cost-related disparities remain a concern for students. For inclusion and accessibility, moderately strong agreement highlights recognition of AI's potential to support students with disabilities or learning difficulties. For institutional responsibilities for mitigating access gap, moderate support reflects expectations for law schools to play an active, well-balanced role of subsidizing or facilitating AI access. And lastly, there is a need for faculty guidance and consultation. The participant says that moderately strong agreement signals clear demand for structured faculty engagement on responsible and effective AI use. With regard to the social pressure, anxiety, and confidence about AI's future role, the themes that emerge involve perceived social pressure to adopt AI, anxiety and uncertainty about AI's impact, and optimism and confidence in responsible professional governance. For the first theme, low scores indicate that peer-driven coercion is not a dominant factor in student AI use. Mild concerns suggest awareness of disruption without pervasive fear or distress. And high agreement for optimism and confidence reflects strong belief that future lawyers can ethically shape AI integration in legal practice. These are some of the biggest concerns about AI in legal education in the Philippines. 36% says over-reliance may result into erosion of critical thinking, reasoning, and analytical skills, while 23% said inaccuracy, hallucinations, misinformation, and reliable legal output. 10% academic integrity concerns such as cheating, plagiarism, misuse in exams and coursework, and a very nil percentage says ethical use, responsibility, lack of clear rules of guidance, data privacy, security, and confidentiality risk concern, equity access, and inequality concerns. So the ethical challenges to some involves bias and harmful content, reflecting racism, sexism, and ableism in generative output, inaccurate information such as AI hallucinations and fabricated citations, difficulty detecting AI-generated student work reflects authenticity and plagiarism issue, while unclear ownership and risk of sensitive data misuse reflects concerns for ethics and data privacy and IP rights, while for assessment integrity, undermining evidence of learning and critical literacy. These are some of the ethical risk mitigation matrix for AI in legal education. So we have here bias and harmful content, faculty mitigation strategy should be vet AI tools for bias, use diverse data sets that students to critically evaluate AI output. For hallucination, it is recommended to require source verification, teach info literacy, use AI as starting point, not final authority. For authenticity and plagiarism, redesign assessment to focus on process, reflection in personal context, clarity, and AI use policy. For data privacy and IP rights, choose tools with transparent data policy, inform students of risks, avoid sensitive input. And for assessment integrity, use embedded contextualized assessment, integrate AI literacy, and bracket AI use when needed. With regard to UNESCO 10 framework for ethical and responsible use of AI, legal education should also focus on preventing proportionality and do no harm, proportionate in design, safety and security for legal education, privacy and data protection, multi-stakeholder governance among legal education institutions, adaptive governance with diverse participation and respect for sovereignty. And AI systems must be auditable, traceable with clear oversight and redress mechanism to address responsibility and accountability. For transparency and explainability, ensure AI decisions in legal education are interpretable and explainable to both experts and users. Human oversight in determination, sustainability, awareness in literacy, fairness, and non-discrimination. Conclusion: artificial intelligence is reshaping legal education with unprecedented opportunity, efficiency, yet there are challenges to academic integrity and serious ethical risks of bias, privacy concern, misinformation, and accountability. UNESCO's human rights centered principle is a very important framework for human dignity, fairness, and sustainability. Legal educators and researchers should not reject AI but embrace it responsibly and ethically. And embedding these values into law practice, policy, and curriculum, you can ensure that AI strengthens rather than undermine the core mission of legal education. Lastly, it is recommended to integrate AI literacy into the curriculum, assessment redesign, promote responsible AI use, faculty development, and balance innovation with integrity. And that is to encourage critical thinking about AI output, ensuring law students develop discernment rather than dependency. According to Vera Quavero, responsible use of AI, we need to evaluate, verify, edit, revise, and you are responsible for everything you create with AI. And always be transparent about how you have used these tools. Thank you very much.